Is this thing on?
Are you ready, Matt?
You're listening to Box Office Bingers
with Matt Diaz and Ernesto Santos.
Good evening, folks. We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you.
We know each other. He's a friend from work.
Box Office Bingers.
And the only way that I know how to do it is to find you a bloody good dump.
He's my friend. I don't have friends. I got family.
I can do this all day.
You know, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of 2026 here at Box Office Bingers. Ernesto, ring in the new year with the lovely people and tell them what we're reviewing.
Oh, this week we are reviewing Marty Supreme starring Timothée Chalamet, Gwyneth Paltrow, Odessa Azion, I hope I pronounced that correctly, Kevin O'Leary, written and directed by Josh Safdie, and also written by Ronald Bronstein. And both, this is a team that brought us Uncut Gems and Good Time. Yeah, I'm very, very interested to hear your thoughts on this movie. This movie was a wild ride, at least, to say the least.
To say the least, yeah. And I think what's more interesting about this conversation or about this movie is that this was the splitting of the Safdie brothers. The Safdie brothers were part of Uncut Gems and Good Time, and it seems that Ronald Bronstein decided to stay on the side of Josh Safdie to write this movie because he was not part of the Smashing Machine that came out earlier this year from Benny Safdie. And I think later in this episode, I think it's worth talking about both movies and how each director
panned out.
Kind of panned out, and like they decided to both split. And they both had a movie come out this year, and I'm sure that the conversation around the dinner table during the holidays might have been pretty interesting, given because I mean, if I was them, I'll be like, I'll be pitting the two movies together. It's hard not to. When when you were a duo and then you decided to split. And I mean, not for nothing, there was a lot of hype around Marty Supreme, more than there was about Smashing Machine. Like a lot of people were talking about Dwayne Johnson's performance, and the same for Timothée Chalamet, but a lot more people were talking about like the hype around Marty Supreme. So
I
think
mean,
that'd be go ahead.
I mean, just without really getting into it, I think the hype around this movie is a lot higher than it was for Dwayne Johnson and the Smashing Machine. I think more so. I think because the biggest part of the conversation was his physical transformation to do that role, like the amount of prosthetics they had to use to try to make him look as close to the fighter as possible. So yeah, I'm actually very, really excited to talk about this one. This was a good movie to close the year out.
Yes, and what's even funnier was that A24 backed both of those movies.
Like, yeah, we'll take them both. You go there. We can split. You guys can each do your own thing. We love you both.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you guys. You split, but we love you the same. We'll give you all the money for any movie you want to make.
Yeah, there you go. Let's all be friends.
Just because you're mad at each other, don't mean you got to be mad at us.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember who's giving you the money. Yeah. Am I right?
We just want to make movies.
We're all just here to make movies. All right. I'm surprised. I just love that Uncle Roger, the character, is just a crutch for anybody that's not us. We just put that onto them. It doesn't. It's like if we don't want to say something, we give it to Uncle Roger. Uncle Roger has a better idea of what's properly eloquently saying it better than we can.
It's like that movie was terrible. You don't have to say it, boys. I'll say it. Don't worry.
Uncle Roger has pretty much taken the life of its own.
It has turned it like we went on vacation together, and like we start doing it inadvertently, especially when we were around Esteban. Like he
just takes it and runs with it,
and then it becomes like this infectious thing with whoever we're with. Like people just start doing it, and it just becomes a thing. I don't know. It's fun though.
It was so funny. Megan was listening to me talk in the other room on the last record.
Yeah.
And so she was hearing, funny enough, she was hearing about us talk about Now You See Me, Now You Don't.
Yeah.
And then she heard the voice and she was like, oh, she was like, "Oh, why did Uncle Roger come out here?" Like she didn't care about anything we had to say about about the show. She just wanted to know what Uncle Roger had to say.
What were his thoughts? We want to know what he says. We don't care what you guys have to say. He's gonna come on his own show, and it's just gonna be like an animated version of me and you. Like,
what's even funny was that we were having dinner that same night too, and I brought it out for I forgot the specific reason, and I told Megan like, you give it a shot. He's like, I'm not gonna do it, right? So I pick up the dishes, start doing the dishes, whatever. And we finish eating. I start doing the dishes, and I forgot what we said, but then she attempts it, and I died. It was so funny.
I wish I'd heard that.
It brings so much joy. It's so good. But anyway, that's enough about me.
All right, let's move on. We got shit to do.
Yeah, we got shit to talk about. Not only are we going to be doing our spoiler review on Marty Supreme a little bit later on in the show, we're also going to be talking about the very hyped up, controversial ending finale of Stranger Things.
Yes.
With the highs and lows, we in a previous episode we talked about the first 4 episodes. Later on in this show, we're going to be talking about the last 4 episodes, including the finale of Stranger Things, and it's a big one. Whether you hate it or like it, this is probably one of the biggest shows of the last decade. Probably the biggest show since Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
that there is this large following around one particular show, and the demand that this show had of like all these people coming out to watch the finale. And we'll talk about its impact also later in the show too, because the finale was brought to theaters and that was huge.
Oh man, like it's wild. I can't wait to dive into it because there's even with the ending, like there's just weird internet shit going on around about Stranger Things, which we're not gonna give too much credit to, but I do think it's worth mentioning, which I think we're gonna get into that later as well.
Yes. But before we talk about Stranger Things, before we talk about Marty Supreme, and before we talk about what we're watching, we're going to be talking about some entertainment news. And the only thing we really have to talk about this week, because it is the new year, not much has been happening, but the 31st annual Critics' Choice Award winners have been revealed. Ernesto, did you have a chance to watch it, or you just saw like the results afterward?
I just saw the results that you posted.
Okay.
Just being honest. Being honest. I didn't see it. I just wait for you to tell me. I'm old. I got 5 kids. What do you need?
What do you want from me? You already have this time. I'm not giving you any more.
It's not true.
But yeah, I did watch it, and it was a weird like I don't think I watched I don't think I watched the Golden Globes or the Critics' Choice last year. I was just kind of just keeping up with the updates. And it's weird to watch this without the Oscars, because it's kind of like these awards are big for them, but it's not the Oscars. You know what I mean? It's weird. But either way, the Critics' Choice Awards, it is the official kickoff to the award season, as far as it's the first award show. Next weekend, at the time of this reporting, we have the Golden Globes, and so they're going to be announcing their winners. And so like this is when the conversation, like when the National Board of Review comes out with their honorees and we hear these nominations, it gets the pot stirring a little bit on the C award season. But once we start getting winners, that's when it starts shaping into something and basically start the road to the Oscars to see who has the good chances of winning the top prize, that is the Oscars. And these like little, I wouldn't say little, these are big awards, but like these preliminary awards kind of really do shape it. And first we're going to be talking about the film category, and then we'll dive into the television category. And so the winners of the night was One Battle After Another, walked away with 3 awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Adapted Screenplay. And both Best Director and Adapted Screenplay went to Paul Thomas Anderson. What I thought was interesting about that was that he won for both. I think there were 2 front runners, and it was Ryan Coogler and Paul Thomas Anderson. I think you can go either way.
Yeah.
And
damn,
both movies were really, really good.
Yeah.
But Paul Thomas Anderson had a huge night for winning pretty much the big three awards, which was again Best Picture, Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay. Pretty much everything that he did, he got awarded for it.
Mm.
Moving on to Sinners, actually tied for the most awards that night with 4. Ryan Coogler won for Best Original Screenplay. Sinners also won for Casting and Ensemble, which is a new category this year. Ludwig Göransson won for Best Score, and Best Young Performer went to Miles Canton, who played the young man that was the the main lead in Sinners,
Mm-hmm.
and first of all, well deserved
Yeah.
across the board.
Absolutely.
And what I found interesting, because I did watch it, there was a lot of time during the ceremony where they kind of like there were some awards that they had the normal presentation on, and then there were some other ones that kind of sped tracked. They were like, and now here's some other awards. It's like best sound, here are the nominees, here's the winner, here's best cinematography, here are the nominees, here's the winner. Like it was pretty quick. One of those, which I was quite surprised with, was the screenwriter categories.
Mm.
They were also within that fast track. So they did Best Adapted Screenplay, went to Paul Thomas Anderson. And then it's like, okay, it's like, here's this big name that we're just going to, whatever.
Here you go. You won.
Here you go. And so, but then they gave it to Paul Thomas Anderson for Best Director. That was a traditional way. And so he was able to say something. But
Okay.
Ryan Coogler won for Best Original Screenplay. And he wasn't even able to give an acceptance speech because it was part of that sped track portion of the show.
Yeah, that does kind of suck. But I get it. I mean, they're trying to find a way to keep these things alive without boring the audience. And one of the main things is that it's too long. So they're trying to find ways to cut time, to condense, but now it's borderline like, well, we're missed on this moment. Like, what is something else that you could have cut out that you could have given Ryan Coogler 2 or 3 minutes?
Yeah, and what's interesting is that I watched the whole thing. It was whole 3 hours, and there wasn't a lot of fluff in those 3 hours. Like there wasn't like performances. They weren't like these skits that typically the Oscars would do. It was pretty straightforward. It was Chelsea Handler, who I thought, I mean, it was not a good hosting job.
I don't really find her I don't find her that funny. She's fine.
No, it's like the critic choice was on E, so she has strong ties with E, and I just found her hosting didn't really add much to this. And then like she would like do these weird jokes that she teed herself up for her own joke, and then she realized it wasn't going to go well, and then she backtracked, and she was like, I forgot what the start of the joke was, but then she ended it with, she was like, and I'm afraid to end this joke now. And it's like, well, then why didn't you even start it in the first place? If you didn't, if you to commit to it, if that's what you're gonna do.
Exactly. Or the joke is that you don't want to make the joke. Like, well, that's not funny.
That's not funny. But yeah, I mean, so like again, the traditional sense, like it was pretty much straightforward. There wasn't a lot of fluff into this whole awards, and it still took 3 hours to do. But also, there's a lot more awards to hand out because they're doing television and for film. But it just kind of sucks, specifically for Ryan Coogler, who is a big name that people would probably want to see, have an acceptance speech. But yet, because he was awarded in the speed track, and they're not, giving the writing category a traditional nominee and winner with the speech, he kind of lost out on that. But other members were able to give a speech. Miles Canton was able to give a speech, and the casting ensemble was able to give a speech. Ludwig Göransson was also in the speed track, so there's no speech there. The other big wins for the night was Frankenstein also won 4 awards. Best Supporting Actress for Jacob Elordi, which was a huge surprise for me.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, for me, Sean Penn in One Battle After Another had an incredible performance in that movie. I'm not surprised that Jacob Elordi won.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised that he won over Sean Penn, which I felt like was potentially probably more favorable to the critics because that movie was so well received, like One Battle After Another. I was expecting a sweep. So the fact that Jacob Elordi won for his performance is like well deserved. But now, wait a minute, he has now some strong contention going into the Oscars.
Well, I could see is where Jacob Elordi's character was more transformative, I guess,
Hmm.
literally and like physically and mentally. Whereas what he had to portray, whereas Sean Penn's character, he played it very well, but it was very like I don't know. I'm trying to think of the right word for it. It was like I don't even want to say straightforward because it wasn't. I felt like Jacob Elordi's character was more layered. I guess that's right, but he was more layered than Sean Penn's character, whereas his was like very like one track. Like this is who he is. Like very not as layered as Jacob Elordi's.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the other like all the other supporting actor awards. He was going up against Benicio del Toro,
Yeah.
and Sean Penn for One Battle After Another, Paul Mescal for Hamnet, Adam Sandler for Jay Kelly, and excuse me, Stalin Skarsgård for Sentimental Value.
Mm.
So even Benicio del Toro, who and Paul Mescal, who was also well in the the critics and the award season, not their first time there. Um, I would expect them that the critics would be favorable to them. But again, good for Jacob Elordi to kind of come out of the gate and be like to give that such great performance to them come out with the win there.
Yeah. Okay.
Frankenstein also won for best production design,
Yeah.
costume design, and hair and makeup.
No surprise there.
I mean, no surprise there. F1 walked away with 2 awards, best editing and best sound, which editing makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Sound all checks out there for me. K-pop Demon Hunters also walked away with 2 awards, best animated feature and best song for Golden.
Yep, I can see that.
Makes a lot of sense there. And then we have some single wins for movies. Hamnet walked away with 1 award for best actress for Jessie Buckley.
Mm.
I thought that was interesting, given that she was going up against some. I guess and given the context, she's probably the clear winner here. But she was going up against Rose Byrne in If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, which I haven't seen yet. That's
Neither
coming
have
to HBO Max later this month. Chase Infinity for One Battle After Another.
Ooh.
Renette Reinstive from Sentimental Value. Amanda Seyfried in A Testament of Anne Lee, which is not out yet in theaters. That comes out also later this month. And Emma Stone for Begonia.
Mm.
I would have put money that Emma Stone would have taken the award, but I guess it also makes sense that Jessie Buckley got it.
Yeah, my choice would have been either Jessie Buckley or Emma Stone. Same for that, but
Yeah.
I can understand why Jessie Buckley got it. I mean, the raw emotion she showed when she has her kids like literally die in front of her. Like,
Yeah.
I could see it. I could totally see
So
it.
I can totally see it. And I'm curious to see when the Oscar noms come out, because she's a front runner, but I'm curious to see what she's up against because I can see stronger performances out there, but based off this list from the critics, she had technically the strongest performance. From what we've seen so far. Marty Supreme, a movie we're gonna be talking about later, walked away with 1 award, Best Actor, Timothée Chalamet. Now he is now the front runner. He's kind of kicking off that journey. He beat out some heavy hitters himself. He beat out Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another, Joel Egerton in Train Dreams, Ethan Hawke in Blue Moon, Michael B. Jordan in Sinners, and Wagner Moura from The Secret Agent, a movie that we've seen that we'll be talking about in a future episode. It's a foreign film, and again, good for Timothée Chalamet. He's been on the scene for quite some time now, and given the hype with Marty Supreme and his performance specifically, this might be his moment to finally grab that Oscar.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see.
Probably one of the biggest surprises of the night was 1 win went to Weapons for Best Supporting Actress for Amy Madigan. She played Aunt Gladys in the movie. She was the crazy spoiler witch at the end of the movie, and she won for Best Supporting Actress. And she went up against Elle Fanning in Sentimental Value, Ariana Grande in Wicked for Good. I'm gonna butcher this name, so I apologize. Igna is Dr. Ilza from Sentimental Value. Wunmi Musaku from Sinners, also apologize for the name, and Tiana Taylor from One Battle After Another. I would have put my money down on anybody at least for for Sinners. Maybe they might have given it to Ariana Grande for Wicked for Good, and I haven't seen Sentimental Value yet, but I a surprise win there for her, and what a committed role she did in Weapons too.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised it didn't go to Tiana Taylor. I mean, just I haven't seen Sentimental Value, so I can't really speak to that. But I just feel like there were stronger performances out there from all those other movies you listed. I mean, she was good, but I don't know.
I mean, it was
kind of don't agree with that.
it was definitely again a committed performance. It was definitely out there.
Yeah, it was.
Um,
Yeah.
but again, I'm surprised. Like out of all of them, I thought it was a surprise nomination. Even bigger surprise for the win.
Yeah, exactly.
The Naked Gun took away one award for best comedy, of course.
Yeah, well deserved.
That was a shoe-in. I'm curious. Let me see if I can find which. Oh, it was up against the Ballad of Wallace Island, Eternity, Friendship, the Phoenician Scheme, and Splitsville. I've seen a few of these. I'm actually surprised that the Phoenician Scheme didn't win it, given that it's from Wes Anderson.
Mm.
And the critics typically love Wes Anderson. But I'm also happy to see that The Naked Gun got it because that movie was top to bottom funny as hell.
But I just think Naked Gun was just very refreshing. I mean, we did a review on it when it came out, but it was just so different. Like it was just so different than anything else that's been out in a while. It was just a refreshing comedy. So I'm totally here for the win.
Me too. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning walked away with one award for stunt design. Avatar: Fire and Ash walked away with one award for visual effects. Train Dreams got one award for cinematography, and The Secret Agent got one award for foreign language film. The films that were nominated in multiple categories that walked away with 0 awards was Begonia, J. Kelly, Sentimental Value, and Wicked for Good. Are you surprised with the 0 wins on any one of these movies? But you've seen most of them.
I would have liked to have seen Adam Sandler win for J. Kelly, but he was up. Who was he up? Who did he win? That was best supporting.
So Jacob Elordi won that one.
Yeah, so I understand why he lost, but at least I'm very glad he at least got the nomination. I would have liked to have seen Emma Stone win for Begonia. It was interesting. Like it kind of, and we're gonna talk about Begonia later, but it kind of reminded me of Poor Things.
Yes, yeah, and same director.
Yeah, Yorgos Lanthimos. Yeah,
Yorgos Lanthimos. But yeah, I think as far as like a well-rounded for the film category, I looked at every one of these wins and I was like, yeah, that makes sense for like 90% of them. Like nothing fell out of the ordinary, and again, these are now clear front runners to be nominated for the Oscars. Train Dreams was again one of those movies that we were kind of surprised about, but Joel Edgerton and the cinematography was the best parts about the movie. The score for, I think that's a good, like if Sinners wins for best score and Golden wins for best song, that to me is like, I get that, even though I love the song from Sinners. I feel like it's between that one and Golden are probably going to be the 2 front runners going into the Oscars. So
yeah, even though arguably I like This Is What It Sounds Like, I think is a much better song, but I get it.
I agree with you, but Golden's the hit.
Yeah, I know.
That's the hit maker. But I agree with you. This Is What It Sounds Like is a better song.
Yeah.
Also, it just slaps.
It does. You just feel so hyped. This is what it sounds like. Oh, this is what it sounds like. I mean, come on now. That song's a bop.
I'm already hyped.
Pieces and you can't hold back. I mean, come on, people. You sing that's like the pinnacle of the movie. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's not the showstopper, but it's like the grand finale.
Yes, which is arguably better. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I'm here with you, man. I'm here with you.
They're wrong. The other one's better. Picking the wrong songs for the movies.
That's what happened with Encanto. Do you remember that? Like it was like a slow song that got nominated at the Oscars, and I believe won. if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it won one, but I could be wrong. But the hit song was "We Don't Talk About Bruno."
Yes, yeah,
And so they did like a special performance at that year's Oscars,
I remember
but it
that.
wasn't nominated for best original song. And I was like, ah, shit, we fucked up.
Oh, we fucking picked the wrong song again. Who's picking? Who's making these choices? Oh, we are. We're the dummies.
Oh, he's deaf. That makes sense.
That makes sense. Oh,
All right, moving on to the television categories. We'll kick it off with the drama, drama,
the drama.
the drama series category. The Pit kind of took it away, kind of ran with it. Took away 3 awards for best drama series, best actor for Noah Wiley, and best supporting actor for Catherine Lanessa, who
Lanassa?
played was it
Lanassa?
Lanassa? She played the head nurse in the series, and all well deserved. I think what's more impressive about The Pit is that it was a show that kind of subverted your expectations of what a traditional hospital drama or medical drama would be like, and it was so engaging. And the fact that it's won and getting all these accolades, I think it's well deserved across the board. I mean, also it's a tough category too because The Pit was, let's see here, was going up against um Pluribus, Severance, Task, Paradise, The Diplomat, Andor, Alien Earth. About half of those shows are all heavy hitters, and especially with Severance and Pluribus, that was getting a lot of attention. And even if anything, Severance was getting all of the attention.
Mm.
So the fact that this show came out in January of 2025 and it was able to uphold that hype for a full year to get the award, that's impressive.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have liked to have seen it go to Pluribus, but I just have a biased opinion because I mean it's clearly that show is so damn good.
Yeah. Well, you can take solace in the fact that Best Actress went to Ray Shehorn
Yeah.
for her role in Pluribus. I mean, she is the show.
She absolutely is the show, but but the writing on it is so good that you only need very minimal characters to carry
Yeah,
it.
and that's very true. And I wonder if that show was like, for example, for the people who are, the people who are filling out the ballots for the nominate, not the what's the word, for the critics themselves who are like filling out their sheet for the winner. Do you think a lot of people had a full year to watch The Pit and hear all the hype around it to actually give it a fair chance to watch it, whereas Pluribus literally just ended?
Yeah, yeah, I think that's I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah,
because I mean it literally just ended like a couple weeks. I mean today's January 6th, so it ended like what 2 or 3 weeks ago, like right around Christmas it ended, or right before Christmas.
It was right after Christmas. I believe the Friday after Christmas it ended.
Yeah,
and so I'm sure a lot of those people, probably got screeners and probably got those episodes sent to them in advance to get the whole thing. But at the same time, to your point, like the show just ended. I'm sure not a lot of people had a chance to see it, let alone have The Pit that had a full year to kind of get some attention.
That one is on my list. You talked about it. My wife has seen it. So I definitely got to get that. I'm going to get to it.
Yeah, and also they were speed tracking season 2. Season 2 starts next week.
That's right. So maybe I'll wait till season 2 drops and then I'll knock out the first 2 seasons and catch up.
The full binge.
Yeah, full binge on 2 seasons. That'll keep me busy for a while.
Yeah, I would say so. Also, they're 15 episodes, hour long.
Yeah, I know.
Those are long episodes. For me, I prefer the binge. There were some times they ended the show, and I was like, "Man, I would hate it if I had to wait a week for this."
I'm so mad.
Next. And rounding out the drama series category, Severance took away 1 award for Best Supporting Actor for Tremel Tillman, which is an incredible performance. What's his character's name? He plays like the assistant to in the Severance area.
Milchick.
It's been a minute since Milchick. Yes, yeah, I love him as a character. I think it was a well-deserved win there for him.
Oh, absolutely. It was. I mean, he's one of the main things about that show that really kept it going. It kept you interested.
Yes, and also his character is so weird. Like I feel like you just don't know what he's gonna do next, which is kind of interesting because at some points you feel like he's committed to the Severance uh, company, but yet you can see him. He has its moments, but he's also weirdly committed to the whole thing as well. Moving on to the acting. Sorry, moving on to the comedy series categories. The studio won big, collecting 3 wins, including best comedy, best actor for Seth Rogen, and best supporting actor for Ike Barinholtz. Nope,
Barinholtz.
Barinholtz. Um, I think the studio is probably one of the best new comedies of last year, and I think this is a well-deserved win all around.
Absolutely, 100%. Totally agree. Can't wait for
It
the
was
next season.
Yeah, it was really funny because when Seth Rogen came up to accept the award the second time, it was already awarded for best supporting actor. He already said his piece for best actor, and everyone came up. He accepted the award, and it was like, "Does anyone else have to say anything?" He's like, "I already spoke in the last one," and he kind of turns around. He's like, "Nope. All right, thanks everybody," and then just walked out.
Nice. That's good. Yep. I already got it all out. I don't need to say that shit again.
Yeah, I don't got to say it again. Um, Best actress went to Jean Smart for Hacks. She's been, I mean, year after year, she's just been killing it on those awards. She's
That show
uh,
is so
it, it,
good. It's so funny.
it's so good, so funny. She has been a force since day one on that show. And again, I feel bad for anyone who keeps going against her because she's just been so good on that show. And a surprise, not really a surprise win, but probably a well-deserved win. Uh, Janelle James won for Best Supporting Actress for playing the principal in Abbott Elementary.
Yeah, I mean the one character who initially like just really irked me, like I just didn't like her. She's now like my favorite character.
Yeah, she's like has this brash, no bullshit, kind of does her own thing, but then there's like this moral, like every now and then they give her these like redeeming qualities
Hmm.
to her. And we're now watching season 4. We were behind on season 4, so we're slowly trickling through those episodes, and they're kind of giving her a little bit of an arc.
Yeah, she's
Uh,
got a. This is her.
there,
I think this is her season. She's got like that's like a big season for her. There's a lot of stuff for her that happens during that season.
yeah, especially there's like this tech guy that keeps showing up to the school.
Yeah.
And so like that's starting to form into something. What I Speaking about Abbott Elementary for a second, we're catching up. The Always Sunny in Philadelphia crossover was
Yeah, it
hilarious.
was a great episode.
Did you see their version?
No.
Oh, you should go back and watch it. So you have like the perspective of like a traditional sense of Abbott Elementary. It's very the style is the same,
Yeah.
and then basically they show you the same episodes, but from their perspective on certain scenes. Like there was a moment where they're like, "Hey, can we just talk for a second?" And you don't see what they talk about in Abbott Elementary, but you see what they talk about in Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, that's
So
funny.
I thought it was really well done, and it was like the season opener for them was that crossover. And what's even crazier was that, and then they kind of leaned to it. They were cursing up a storm on the Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode.
Yeah.
And so I was surprised that there's like, hey, here's these characters that you know and love, and they're very like polite, but then they're just going off. And I feel like each person was given like a cuss word to say because they were just saying it. And I was like, it feels so weird to see that, to hear them say that when you're used to them in a certain way in this very formalmatic sitcom setting,
Yeah.
that you take them out of that for a second and I was like, are they allowed to say that?
Isn't this Abbott Elementary?
Yeah. And it was so funny because one person was Janine was describing the other female character in Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And there was some like she was irking her in the Abbott Elementary episode. So then they were doing a talk back on the Always Sunny in Philadelphia side. And then so she was talking to the camera and then she goes, "Can I curse?" And then like the guy's like, "Yeah, you can curse." And she was like, "Oh man." She's like, that B was an F and C. And I was like, "Oh my God. They went full into it. And they said the full word.
Okay.
And then they went like full into it. And I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. They went full on into it. And it was like, it took me aback. I was like, Janine, how dare you?
Oh, I gotta watch it then. I gotta watch it.
You gotta watch it. It's so funny. But yeah, well-deserved win there for Abbott Elementary. Moving on to the limited series category. I mean, Adolescence
Come on.
walked away with the most wins of any television category that night. It got 4 wins, including Best Limited Series, Best Actor for Stephen Graham, Best Supporting Actor for Owen Cooper, and Best Supporting Actors for Aaron Doherty. The show is incredible.
Yeah.
With
go
only
watch
4
it.
episodes, said a lot. Cinematography, amazing. We've talked about this show in nauseum in past episodes, but well-deserved wins there for Adolescence.
Yeah, I think one episode we did like almost like a full breakdown of it.
Yeah, we did. I forgot what episode it was, but read our descriptions. They'll be in there somewhere.
It's in there somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah,
but yeah, it is well worth all the wins.
Yes, for sure. One Best Actress for a limited series went to Sarah Snook for her role in All Her Fault, which is a limited series on Peacock. I think this was the first show she's done after Succession, and so she got a good win there. Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy, got 1 win for Best Movie Made for Television. South Park won for Best Animated Series. Squid Game won for Best Foreign Language Series. Best Talk Show went to Jimmy Kimmel Live. Best Comedy Special went to SNL 50, the anniversary special. And Best Variety Series went to Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. The shows that were nominated for multiple awards but ended up walking away with 0, that was Task, Paradise, Andor, Elsbeth, Nobody Wants This, Ghost, The Righteous Gemstones, Death by Lightning, Dope Thief, Dying for Sex, The Diplomat, and Devil in Disguise, John Wayne Gacy. A little bit surprised that Michelle Williams didn't walk away with Best Actress in a limited series.
Yeah, I mean, I really loved her in that series. I thought it was just kind of like a sleeper for me, so it would have been nice to see it win. But yeah, no real surprise on the rest of these. I still really want to see Task because there's high praise. There's high praise around that one.
Yeah. Another show that again was ended fairly like soonish. So I wonder again for all the hype that we were hearing about it. I wonder if again one of those shows that because it was so recent, not a lot of people had a chance to watch it, but it got the nominations nonetheless.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, I mean, a lot of these wins are shows that we have talked about in previous episodes. So I guess we're doing something right. Yeah, I feel like well-deserved wins kind of all around. There are only a few surprises here and there, but we're kind of ending like after the Golden Globes is kind of the end of the television categories as far as wins that we can talk about. But again, when you look at this as a whole, one battle after another has strong contentions for winning Best Picture. Paul Thomas Anderson could walk away with Best Director. Timothée Chalamet could walk away with his first Oscar after all of this. A lot going into this awards, and then a lot more will be said going into the Golden Globes after that is happening. And then we're all just waiting to see what the Oscars come out the nominations. So again, the award season, that road to the Oscars has officially started. But with that, that's all the news we have for you guys this week. As always, you can follow us on our social media channels, on our Facebook page at Box Office Bingers and our Instagram and Threads page at boxoffice_bingers. We'll post all of the entertainment news over there first, and then we'll come back on the show and we'll talk about it. So with that, we're going to be diving into a fun segment we like to call Whatcha Watchin. And this week, we are pretty much sharing almost everything that we're talking about in our Whatcha Watchin segment. We have both seen. So, and the first thing we're going to be talking about is the Stranger Things finale, season 5. Ernesto, your initial thoughts on the last 4 episodes and the season as a whole. We'll start there, and then we'll start diving into it.
I think that this volume 2 finale split was dumb. I think that they should have just done. I think they should have done volume 2 and the finale, just like all in one shot. Just because I don't know, I felt the finale was It was good, but it just felt very like it was just very safe. It was a very safe ending. I mean, it was fine. Like it was fine. Like I think my thing is maybe we just wanted more. Like we wanted there to be more than what it was, and like the last battle was very rushed, and like I just felt like the stakes weren't as high as this 10-year buildup was. You know what I mean? Like I just felt like it was good, but like there was a sacrifice, and even that's contested on whether that character was actually sacrificed. So I don't know what were the stakes, and I felt like we just kind of like Vecna battle was like 5 minutes, and then Mind Flare was like another minute, and then we're like, all right, let's go back, let's blow it up, let's just end it all now, and then it was fine.
Yeah, I don't disagree with most of what you're saying.
Okay.
Overall, I think season 4 was a much stronger season and arguably a much stronger ending when it comes to like Vecna. Like he was being built up so well that I feel like that Vecna character should have potentially ended, and arguably the show should have ended given maybe a few more episodes for the final season, because like season 4 felt more of a finale, and I've always said this before that season 5 might be pushing it. And but if you have more story to tell, let's see it. I'd love to see it. And it's weird because to your point, I walked away feel like, wow, we had 8 episodes. The finale was 2 hours. Each episode was an hour each. That means that there was 9 total hours of content. And yet I'm still wanting more. But in this case, not in a good way, but like what were we building toward? And the resolution just didn't feel as satisfying as I would have hoped. And that's tough because I really enjoyed volume 1. And I thought the build up to volume 1 and what like the threat of what Vecna is, like the repercussions of season 4, like I think volume 1 was designed really well to build that hype. And you give us 4 episodes with some pretty good action of like the hype to Vecna. And then at the end of that 4th episode, you just see him walking out of the upside down like a badass, and then like kind of taking everybody out of this path, calling Will weak, and then you have this really emotional montage for then Will to start controlling the demigorgons and like taking over like power, and then ending on that note to them like, Vecna, you were wrong. He's going to be a real threat in the back half of this show, so you better watch out. Like to me, I loved the first volume. I loved getting back into those characters, the quips, the way that they was shot, the way that it was like, here's his plan, here's the execution of that plan, setting up the stakes. Volume 2 did not live up to the first volume.
Yeah, like Will kind of helped, but I guess he helped. He was like there at the last minute, kind of giving Elle that last minute push to help defeat him.
I felt that volume 2, it was just another 3 episodes of build up to the finale, which gave the finale a lot of pressure because you didn't allow those 3 episodes to give us any, like those 3 episodes to me should have been like, if the first 4 episodes were building, let's give like episode 5 be like not a resolution, but like, hey, we got up to the peak of season 4. Let's go down a little bit in episode 4 goes up. Then we bring it back down after the reveal on episode 5. Episode 6, if I'm not mistaken, we get the reveal of what the upside down really is. Let's bring it back up. And then let's kick it up a notch and let's get into some action on episode 7 to then continue that action episode 8. And then we have the epilogue that was in the final episode. And I feel like we just didn't do that. It was just more build up and less story that I can hold on to, because I feel like if volume 1 was the build up to hype, then the volume 2 should have given us what the stakes were. What were we fighting for? Give us the big surprise. Give us the oh shit moment for then the finale to kick in to be like, okay, this is what we're fighting for. But I feel like we never got that.
Yeah, and then like just the fake outs. Who is it? Steve's character when he falls off the tower and we sit in black for like 6 or 7 seconds. It's like, what? And then he just lives. Like, no, he should have died. Like that should have been like his, like getting us up there and doing what he needed to do should have been like a big sacrifice. But just for them to just sit in black like that. But that's meant for like we watched it at home, but I bet in the theaters that was probably like a much bigger moment. Like the entire theater watching this one thing, and then it cuts to black, and then everybody's cheering as he's grabbed. I bet that was a great moment to watch in the theaters. But at home, like it kind of hits, but I feel like it probably didn't hit as hard as it probably should have.
I think it all depends on how much you're invested into these characters. I think that's what that moment's for. That moment's for the fans to kind of like, oh no, like people who are in the theaters. You're right. The people who went to the theaters are the people who are in love with this series and they want to see the finale on the big screen. And we'll talk about the theater presence in a minute. But like, I 100% agree with you. That moment was meant for the fans to kind of build up on your expectations. Like no one's safe. That's the final episode. Anyone can die. Like that's what that brought. And I know we talked about this. We talked about this when we talked about Volume 1, that we felt like people should be dying, even in Volume 2. Even if somebody had died in Volume 2 to really up the stakes of like we're fighting for said person who had died. I'm warming up to the idea that not, the fact that nobody died for the most part. People died, but you know what I mean? Like the important characters. And like I'm warming up to the idea now after I'm a few days removed from watching the finale, the fact that nobody died. But in that moment, I felt a little bit like, yeah, you're right. We went to the safe route that all of our main characters, for the most part, lived at the end of all this.
And then there's the whole, one thing before I bring up the whole 11 thing. Where were the Demogorgons during the last battle? They're just chilling on vacation. I seen there's like, what's even funnier is the entire internet culture surrounding Stranger Things, like all the memes around the finale. And like one of them is like, well, Vecna's fighting for his life, and like it's like pictures of Demogorgons taking pictures in Paris, or just like just do it like chilling on the beach, like just doing random shit. And it's just so funny because it's true. It's like, well, where were they? He's sitting there, he's literally fighting for his life, trying to protect. Why not have a bunch of Demogorgons surrounding the little kids so that nobody takes them? Like,
yeah, do you know what the Duffer Brothers said about that in their interview?
What?
That they said that because the kids took him by surprise, he wasn't prepared to get the Demogorgons out there. And I think that's not a good.
That's a bullshit answer. Is what that is.
Yeah.
There's no way. All 100%. This planning, the kids will be mine. I will use them. Let me not make sure that they're safe. It's like that show's like, oh shit, how'd you get into Dimension X? There was no way you were gonna get here. Oh fuck. Oh, we gotta fight now. Oh, like no, come on, get out of here.
It's not even a safety net. Like at least have them around just for safety, just in case. You know what I mean?
Or even how about a better explanation? Oh, he couldn't use the Demogorgons because he was using all his power to try to move the Dimension X and Upside Down together. That would have been a better suffice answer, which would have made sense. Like, oh, he's got to concentrate all his power to do things, so he can't, because isn't it like he can't really control them like that while he's trying to do this thing. That's a much better explanation.
Yeah, you know what would have been even more badass?
What?
If Will controlled the Demogorgon.
It would have made him more useful. Because then he's out, like he would have got there and he would have like broke them all or like sandwiched them down so that would have dampened Vecna's powers. Because like he would have just taken them all out. No, we didn't get that either.
On the topic of memes, I have been loving the fact in the Volume 2 episode, I think it was episode 6, when Max and Holly were rushing back from the from Vecna's mind into the real world, back to reality. But before that, and like they were in a big rush to get there, then they stopped for about a good 5 to 7 minutes of Max hyping up Holly about like, you just got to believe. And then all of a sudden the thing pops up. The amount of memes that were like, run, Max, run. But first, let's start our new podcast.
Yeah, I saw that was a good one. It's like they're both sitting there just talking about life. It's like, why aren't you running yet? Like this is the time to go.
Yes, it's like you guys will be all right for a moment.
You'll be fine.
And then also within this whole season, Karen Wheeler, Mike's mom and Holly's mom, was all of a sudden a badass this season. Like, I like the scenes. It just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, all of a sudden she went from Holly Homemaker to like fucking Rambo or Linda Hamilton. Ironically, Linda Hamilton from Terminator. So she just became this badass overnight.
Which, now you mentioned Linda Hamilton, that character was ultimately useless. That whole military taking over Hawkins, it amounted to nothing. The only thing that amounted to it was like, we're looking for 11.
They just became the threat, another threat for 11. And like, yeah, they were. So here's the other thing. They blew up the Upside Down. Like, what about all those pregnant women that were there? So that means that they're all dead.
So the Duffer, again, I don't believe this. Again, I feel like this is another bullshit answer, but the Duffers brothers went on that same interview and said that they were already dead.
Yeah, from the bomb exploding the world that they were in.
Before that, they were already dead.
No, there's no fucking no. Get the fuck out of here.
I
get
agree
the fuck out of here. No, come on. There's no way. There's no way. What? Why? So why not? Why even show us these women? Why show us that this is happening? Why are you giving us the exposition and making us care? And then, they just happen to get away when you could have spent literally 30 seconds to say, as we're leaving the Upside Down, hey, let's get all those pregnant ladies. Oh, we can't. They're already dead. Damn, that sucks. Yeah. Let's go. Look,
like when Kali was running through, like, because that was like a flashback when we were getting her backstory. Like, apparently within all of that, they were already dead, like down the line. Like those were like past experiments. So they weren't really there because that was a flashback, mind you.
Yes, that was a flashback, but wasn't the whole point of them going back was to stop these experiments? So why show us the experiments and not show us that they ended? Unless you're going to show us that scene where the Upside Down explodes, is it ending? Because that's they're gone after. We know they're gone after that.
Yeah.
But we have no context of them ending. Even like a throwaway line, like they were doing them then, but when I went back, the women were gone. Like she could have said something to that effect. Nope. We didn't get that. We didn't get that either.
It's crazy because visually, I really enjoyed the visuals of the show. The amount of work and the visuals and the visual effects that went into creating this epic feeling, but the stakes building up to that just wasn't there because I'm like, well, what is Vecna doing? Like, why does he want 12 children? Why is he bringing down Dimension X into the Upside Down? Like, they had all these theories that they were pushing out, but I was expecting the finale to answer some of those. It's like, okay, so you're just being taken over by the Mind Flare. That's fine, sure. But then what the Mind Flare wants to do? Like, why do you want to merge these two worlds together? Like, do you have this personal vendetta over the humans? Do you like what's the Mind Flayer got to do with this? Like, I feel like I don't know what the villain was after, and therefore I couldn't really invest my time. The only thing that I can hold on to is that Vecna has been a pain in the ass to these kids, and these kids want him gone. Like, that's it.
I think I actually thought that part was explained because I think because when the science teacher, when they're explaining and he's there, he's like he mentions that this dimension is like all darkness and chaos. So what if this just inert space of darkness and chaos meets this being that has so much vengeance built in them? So like, it's like it gives him the vehicle to cast the vengeance that he wants to be, because otherwise it's just chaos and darkness just floating into nothing, not really attached to anything to funnel it through. Does that make sense?
So then why merge them together? Like, you just want...
Because Vecna wants to merge the two worlds together because he's evil, but he's using the Dimension X like chaos and darkness to do that. Like the chaos and darkness just exists. It doesn't give a fuck. It's just it exists undisturbed until Vecna uses it for something. That's kind of how I saw it.
No, that's not good enough for me.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I was trying with that one.
Yeah, I couldn't buy into it. I like the reveal that the upside down was just like this vacuum, this like
It's a tunnel.
portal,
It's the
tunnel.
bridge.
Yeah,
It's the bridge to the other world, actually.
Yeah, I think that was a great reveal because for all this time we never knew what it was for the most part. I enjoyed that reveal of it because like he gave us some context. But now again with that reveal, what does that mean? Like obviously Vecna kind of knew about it, but like I don't know. It just I didn't know what Vecna was fighting for and the mind flare. And I thought honestly, it wasn't until recently. It's like, oh wait, the mind flare's still here. I thought he was dead like 2 seasons ago. It's like, oh no, he's been there. He's always been around. It's like, has he?
Yeah,
like, has that been established?
I didn't think he was ever gone.
See, I thought he was gone. Like I thought he was done because then we just moved on to Vecna. Like, and I didn't realize that like it was like, oh well, the mind flare has been, in Vecna's mind this whole time, or Henry's mind this whole time. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I just like I wanted like give me an episode just focusing on him, like Henry. Like that's honestly what I'm looking for. Like give me a full episode because we were like kind of given pieces through that when they were going through his mind that really didn't mean much, in my opinion.
So
like we saw that he was
preferred a full,
trauma.
You would have preferred like a full episode just on him as opposed to it being sprinkled throughout.
Yes, 100%. Because like there was a play, there's a play out there that's focusing on his whole backstory that here I watched a breakdown of the events of the play, and given what they talked about in the final episodes of the show, it's like this shit looks pretty important to include with like I would say a good majority of your fans probably have not been to Broadway or London to see this play. So I think it'll be probably good to either put this on Netflix or give us an abridged version in the show to kind of catch people up because some of the shit they're talking about, it's like, this is how Henry became, involved with the mind flare, but not important. We don't gotta, the fans don't need to know that. Only the serious fans get to know this information if you go see the play. And apparently Hopper and Joyce all went to school together with Henry. Like in the 80s.
That's an important
That's
detail.
pretty important. So I don't know. Like that whole Vecna, again, there were a lot of cool moments in this season. And I enjoyed some of it. I enjoyed some of the build-up. I enjoyed some of the action. When we got to the final Mind Flare battle, they're in Dimension X and all that stuff. I felt like it was too easy.
Yeah.
It was too easy to like this big menace, this thing that you've built up. It honestly felt like how easy it was to kill the what was his name? The from Game of Thrones. The Night King, I believe they called him.
Oh yeah. Like how it was just they just chopped his head off and then like that's it.
Yeah, like this guy was a huge threat of coming to invade the land that I don't remember. And like it culminates to all these people coming together to fight this one entity. And the battle itself just didn't live up to the hype that was brought on in the previous episodes. Like you built up this villain so much to easily take him down with really no explanation about it. And I felt that was very similar to me. I think Game of Thrones is a little bit worse, but like it didn't feel like that he was much of a threat once they got to Dimension X. Like they were all just throwing, like, you telling me that Nancy throwing away some shotgun shells is really doing damage to that mind flare? And like Lucas throwing gasoline water balloons and they're throwing out like all attacking his weak points. Sure, we can go along that. Everyone knew what the weak points were, but like it felt like everyone was just throwing shit, and it just happens to be working when 11 was doing the real work, and then Will was able to go into Vecna's mind to help out. Like, I don't know. I feel like to me that wasn't a very satisfying battle and a very quick, like, we got him. And
then we get this. Then we get like this really long epilogue, like kind of wrapping everything up, and then we get the did 11 die, and then we get this whole thing. My thing is, I don't I think that she is dead. I think this is just a story that Mike has to tell himself so he can move on with his life. Because immediately before we get this scene with Hopper, and he's like telling him like how it doesn't matter if she's alive or dead, is what matters, that she's gone. So we're gonna have to learn how to accept that. And then immediately after, like, he hears the feedback on the speaker, and that reminds him of 11 and everything, and like understanding that oh, well, maybe she did live, and maybe she is living her best life. I think she's gone.
I think it's a better ending if she's dead, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
I think her dying, and also her sacrifice, didn't feel emotional to me. It almost felt like that this was something that I was expecting to happen, and I 100% agree with the Duffer Brothers in that same interview, and they were like, "We believe that this started with 11, it should end with 11." Like, in order for the residents of Hawkins to move on fully, everything revolving around what the Upside Down and all that stuff represented needed to go away in order for them to fully move on, and I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, we lost a lot of people along the way, and I feel like we probably should have lost more, but honestly, the only 2 people that died in this show were the 2 experiments, which was 8 and 11. And so, like, I feel like those deaths were not as impactful. And also, I feel like the way that it was handled as well, it was like 11 knew, like, she didn't have to go to the other side, but she just knew that the military were going to continue hunting her if she didn't die, and it was a very honorable sacrifice. But I don't think I felt that sacrifice, in my opinion. Like, I don't feel like it was very much earned in the way that they did it. Also because, like, I think it's just like it was following the anticlimactic ending of Vecna and going into the, like, we don't even know what the military's after, except for all we know is after 11. So even that coming toward it, it just didn't line up to, like, again, nothing surrounding it was giving 11 and Mike room to kind of make that sacrifice and that emotional goodbye mean something, in my opinion. Also, excuse me, like, to your point, after Vecna was over, we had paused it so I can go use the bathroom. And I saw that there was like another 50 minutes left. And I was telling Megan, I was like, you know what? I'm happy that there's another 50 minutes left because I'm not satisfied with that Vecna ending. Maybe there is some big twist they're about to do because there's a lot of story left.
Yeah.
Come to find out, it was just a 45, basically a 40-minute epilogue, which through time I've been able to enjoy that. And the way that I take the finale at the end of the day was I very much enjoyed the back half of this episode because after watching this show for nearly a decade, I think this was a very satisfying ending, an emotional ending to these characters that we've been following for quite some time as characters. But I was not satisfied with the way that they ended the whole sci-fi um Vecna storyline. But once 11 died, and now we get this 18th month later, them graduating, them kind of moving on, them kind of doing their last D&D battle and putting the books on the shelf. I teared up in that moment.
Yeah.
Like, it was, for me, it was very emotional. And also, anyone can relate to that growing up, saying goodbye to one thing, moving on to the next part of your life. Like, that was very emotional. Seeing the new generation coming in down the stairs and like having Mike tell that story is like, is 11 alive? And like they all just say, like, I believe that she's somewhere in a better place, away from this madness and enjoying the rest of her life as she should. But it's all a story. And the fact that Mike is now potentially going into a story, like, going to be a screenwriter or a storyteller moving later on his life after he apparently did this great D&D campaign and kind of moving that into a career. I think it was a beautiful ending. The fact that Dustin kind of was valedictorian and he just said "fuck you" to the principal and like kind of giving honor to Eddie
Mhm.
Munson with the Hellfire Lives, and then a lot of people were saying that was a callback of what Eddie was going to do at his graduation. So
Yeah.
just Dustin fulfilled that. Like, to me, that ending was so beautiful, and like, as much as I didn't like everything with the Vecna stuff, as these characters are concerned, we love these characters regardless. Like they're funny, they're witty, they're compelling. They're like I very much enjoyed the back half of this episode. I just wish that it was giving us this resounding ending that kind of built up this hype that they were building toward. But again, as character endings, I thought it was very fulfilling for me.
Yeah, yeah, I can agree with that. I think I think a lot of people feel like we feel, to the point where like there is this entire internet culture now surrounding that may have been a fake ending, which I think is pretty crazy.
It's stupid.
Right? Isn't it? It's wild. It's wild. Like I had somebody at work to go, "Oh, there's a secret episode coming out on the 7th." And then they started like I was like, "What?" I don't think it's real, only for the fact that they labeled all this marketing about pushing people to the theaters, that if it did be real, I think that would be a massive slap in the face and disrespect to people who paid money to see the finale in the theaters.
Yeah.
They're not paying to go see the penultimate episode. They're paying to see the finale. Like that's how they chose to honor it as this way that you wanted to present it. So because they could have watched it at home with their subscription, but no, they've decided to pay an additional fee to see it in a theater setting, which I thought was a great idea, and it made a lot of money. Like he created this massive shared experience for everybody. To me, that is the satisfying way to end. That would have been the best way to end this series. I didn't get to see it in the theaters, but I wish I was able to, because I think that would have made it more satisfying. I bet the people who watched in the theater all had a much more positive experience watching it together in the theaters.
I'm sure. I mean, there were a lot of great moments that would have been leaning into a better theatrical experience. It's funny because after I finished watching it, I actually told Megan, I was like, you know what? Kind of happy I didn't watch it in the theater, because what I'm feeling right now, like after like the whole Vecna stuff, I was like, I feel like I would be disappointed, and from that point. But then you get this large epilogue that apparently the Duffer Brothers got was inspired by the ending of Lord of the Rings, where the Return of the King had this long epilogue ending, and they kind of took inspiration from that to kind of allow these characters to kind of have their moments. And also seeing like Hopper and Joyce, like them getting engaged and moving on from Hawkins. We get this long like update on what's going on with like the older kids, and like them moving on, going to college, and like kind of going on with their lives, and Steve becoming a teacher. So like I there is some, I like kind of seeing like 18 months later, seeing what these characters have been doing and stuff like that. And so, but yeah, for the people who think that this is not the true finale, that there's a secret episode coming out in a couple of days, to kind of fake out the audience because you're not satisfied with this ending, is complete bullshit. Like, you can develop any theory you want, but to your point, you don't put out this episode in theaters, and you don't have the Duffer Brothers come out with a full interview talking about the finale if there was more to talk about. Like if there was more to this series, like it's over, people. It's done. No more.
What's gonna be crazy is that, I mean, by the time this episode airs, like we'll already know the answer. It'll be interesting to see how people are gonna feel after that time comes and there is no episode.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Now I could be eating my words, and all of a sudden, like, hey, there it is. But I'm like 99% sure that there is no secret episode coming in the next couple of days.
But wouldn't that just put a bad taste in your mouth? Like
100%.
Like wow, like they just fucked over all those people.
To talk about the box office within the 2 days, and we were talking about this, in last week, of how almost every, I have the number here. The Duffer Brothers reported that the finale was showing in, let me see here. The finale was showing in 620 theaters. 3,500 showings were sold out. Completely sold out. And the movie, or the final episode, it collected $1.1 million in pre-orders and reservations, and it collected $25 million within the 15-hour time frame that the show was in theaters, because the show went from 8 p.m. On New Year's Eve, and I believe the last showing was about 10, 11 o'clock at night on New Year's Day, and that was it.
Yeah.
and they had, I mean, and they were just only had a couple of screenings, and then because all of them kept selling out, there were just more and more showings popping up, and those were quickly selling out as fast as they were putting them out there. It was insane to see the hype
Yeah.
that this show had and the impact culturally that this show had. And it was around the same time that Avatar was coming out, which is another big movie that was coming out, and this was blowing it out of the water. Obviously, more people had these more time to spend with these characters since there was just more content to go off of for Stranger Things. But the amount of people that went to the theaters and sold out crowds, it's kind of impressive.
I mean, just in those 2 days. How wild is that?
Yeah, it's really it's something unheard of. And like there are some movies that are out for full weekends that don't even get that.
That's what I mean. Like, can you imagine if they do release this other episode and they just slapped all those other people in the face?
Well, they're like, come back to the theater.
Like, we're gonna put the real finale back in. We're not messing with you this time. It's the real one. Like, how about you give me back my money for the one I thought was the finale? Like, what the fuck is that? Like,
yeah, it's not happening. Not happening. But yeah, what do you think about the final shots of the movie, like them play or the show, the finale? Like, what do you think of the whole epilogue?
I actually really enjoyed the epilogue for the actually, like, especially for Mike's arc, like seeing him do their last campaign and then putting all the books on the shelf, and like you kind of get a glimpse of everybody moving on to the next phase of their life, like, and then him seeing his sister and her friends. Although I would have liked to have seen Lucas's sister down there too with her. I feel like she should have been included in the group, but seeing like the next generation of them, and good for him, for his sister's doing like the same, they're doing very similar things. So I think that part's nice that he's able to pass that down to her, and like their stories are going to live down there with them, and like their legacy will live on through them. Like knowing that it's like it wasn't for nothing, and like seeing like their adventures and journeys that they're about to go on through their childhood. Like they're about to end their childhood. And his sister is like entering into like the prime of her childhood, going into her teenage years.
Yeah, and I do feel like there were a lot of theories leading into the finale that like the final episode was just going to reveal that this was one big D&D campaign.
Yeah,
and I thought that would have been a stupid ending. First of all,
yeah,
and I'm happy that they didn't go down that route. But instead, if you want to give credit to some of those theories, they did end with D&D, but it wasn't a whole D&D campaign this entire time. But instead, it ended where it started, where here's this group of friends down a basement playing D&D, but yet here's so much stuff that happened between that first episode and the last episode. And again, it was really touching, and I really did enjoy the epilogue version of the finale. And it's very emotional, for a bunch of different reasons that I've already talked about. But yeah, as a whole, as a series, as a finale, as a season, like, or do you think you're satisfied with the show as a whole? Are you happy you went along this almost 10-year journey with the show?
That's what I was talking to somebody at work about that, and I was like, do I feel like I've just wasted the last 10 years of my life, like being invested in the show? And I would say no. I mean, it was fine. There's a lot of high points. I mean, certain seasons are stronger than others. And I guess if you look at Eleven actually dying and sacrificing herself, then I feel like it's more satisfying. But I do like that the ending is ambiguous so that you can make your own interpretation.
Yeah, I think overall this was a great series. Like, I mean, just the cultural impact, like alone, the amount of people, merch, like Halloween Horror Night houses that we've seen.
True.
Through all of this, like the fact that Netflix House opened and there's a whole Stranger Things segment in there, like this is not the last we're seeing of Stranger Things. We were just talking about this. The Duffer Brothers worked on an animated series that's coming out later this year, which I think it's an interesting timing for that. But they said Stranger Things Tales from '85, like that's it takes place between seasons 2 and 3, an animated series that tells I guess the story of what happened in between those two times. Interesting to do that. I'm not sure if it's needed. I feel like that's something that could have been happening or could have happened before the final season aired, but I don't control that. And then also they said that there's a spinoff that they're working on as well. That's apparently going to have ties to the Mind Flare and give us more context of certain things that happen in the finale. And yeah, sure. I'm not sure if I'm going to be rushing back to see more Stranger Things after this, but I enjoyed the ride of these last 10 years of kind of this nostalgic feeling that you had when watching it. And also the way that, again, a lot of high moments in this show. And I think season 4 was a really good season. And so though the finale, the final acts of this show, and especially for our big bad with Vecna, didn't 100% meet my expectation, I think they wrapped it up very nicely at the end.
Yeah, it was fine.
It was all right.
It was all right. It was fine.
All right, so moving on from Stranger Things, as thank you for all of your what's the word? Thank you for your time, Stranger Things.
Yeah.
We're gonna move it on to some movies that we watched, one of which is the somewhat meta reboot, meta sequel to Anaconda, the new comedy from Sony, starring Paul Rudd, Jack Black. Ernesto, thoughts?
It was actually a lot funnier than I thought it was going to be. It was dumb. It was stupid. It was a really, really dumb movie, but it was I'm going to turn my brain off for 90 minutes and I'm just going to kind of like veg out and watch this movie. And I felt like that's what this was. It was very meta, like talking about the Oscars. Like what did they say? Everybody loves intergenerational trauma. There was just like a lot of stupid one-liners. It was very reminiscent of like Anchorman. Like the movie itself isn't that great, but it's filled with like one-liners and little mini moments that kind of like make you chuckle.
Yeah, and I don't want to be that guy that's going to pick a movie that's stupid. However,
okay, okay, Matt, here we go.
However, here we go.
This isn't
hop on the soapbox.
This isn't Schindler's List.
I was all in for a stupid movie. And I feel like in a way it was stupid for different reasons.
Yeah.
Like I think The Naked Gun was smart stupid. Where I think this one the movie had a very compelling first act. And I enjoyed that a lot. Like, okay, you have Jack Black, downpoint his career, feels inspired by seeing an old videotape, and then wants to remake something that brings them joy, and a remake to a movie that they all want to do. And Paul Rudd saying he has the rights to the movie, and he didn't.
And he didn't.
And it was a very silly way to explain, like, yeah, I got the rights from whoever. Anyway, like them kind of recapturing their youth by recreating or doing a reboot of a movie they both love, or not both, but their team loves, their friends love. And then tonally, I think that's where my main problem with this movie was. Tonally, it just didn't align because you had this kind of emotional beginning of a movie with some comedy bits, and then turns into this weird subplot of these people hunting this girl. We don't know why, and then she just happens to go on the ship, and then we don't really talk about her for like 30 minutes of the movie, and then she comes back and like, oh yeah, I've been on the ship and whatever, and then she's actually the bad guy, and people were hunting her but they were the good guys, and she was the bad guy, and I was like, okay, we could have done without all of that.
Well, of course. It's all dumb. It's all dumb.
We didn't. Yes, it's all dumb.
When he kills the snake, it's like they're having some weird snake funeral.
Yeah, which look, if this, I'll say this: if this movie took out all of the like chasing this random girl, like, and who's like a gold smuggler or whatever, you take all that out, this movie's way better. Because then it leans into the ridiculousness of what this movie should have been all about this whole time.
Yeah, I can agree with that, especially with them, the other group actually shooting the real remake of Anaconda, they
Yeah,
could have easily leaned into that, like where he tries to steal like shots that they're gonna use and like try to use their prop snake or whatever they were gonna do. Like I agree with you. They could have leaned more into that, but I don't know. It was fine. Like it's when they think that he's dead in the end, and they strap that fucking pig to him. And he puts the squirrel in his mouth. And he's like, "Who put the dead squirrel in my mouth?"
That whole bit was spoiled in the trailer.
It was.
Like,
they should have saved that for the movie.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Like that was an extended bit in the trailer, and that was like the ending of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was a weird choice to put that in your trailer. And the only reason why I've seen it so much because during this end of the year, we see a lot of big movies and they keep pushing out the same trailer.
Yeah.
It was a weird call to put that in there, especially to show a elongated version of that. Basically, the whole movie's in the trailer for the most part. Yeah. However, I was willing to lean into the ridiculousness of this concept and also give them credit for giving us something. Here's an Anaconda movie that is a reboot and somewhat of a sequel, but also very meta about it instead of just giving us an Anaconda reboot. But I feel like it relied heavily on the fact that Anaconda was a horror movie, so we had some horror elements into it, but it's really a comedy, but it's trying to be meta. But then here's like this other subplot that's going on. Too many things happening. And it was only 90 minutes. Too many things happening. You take away, you make it simple. Here's these group of friends who want to remake their favorite movie. Done. That's all this should have been. And I think that's where I'm like nitpicking on it. But aside from all that, the movie is ridiculous and it was okay.
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, like, I'm not rushing back to go see it, but like if it's on, I'd be like, oh, I'd pop it on and put it in the background. Just because, like, I don't know. I was here for the one-liners. It was dumb. But I get it. I understand your gripes with this movie.
Yeah, I mean, even toward the end of the movie where they're like now having their own, like they submitted this movie to the film festival and like they're having like their own big moment for it. It just felt weird. But I did chuckle when this whole fancy boat comes by and they're like, "Yeah, we're remaking Anaconda." I was like, and then Ice Cube comes in
and then
Jennifer has Lopez this whole bit.
Yeah, don't post. I told you not to post a picture. Delete it. I don't know how. It was just dumb. So dumb. Jennifer Lopez shows up.
Yeah, I was surprised with that cameo. I wasn't expecting for her to come in there and be like, "Hey, we saw your fan film. Would you like to redo the reboot? Like, all the people died. Like, your whole cast and crew are gone. You're like, let's
do it again."
Yeah, it was a little bit ridiculous. It's whatever. It's fine. I was
maybe
more
maybe a 2.5 out of 5.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, 2.5 for 2 really. I think the idea was more intriguing than the actual movie itself. Because when we talked about this, when the news broke of like, hey, they're making like a meta reboot of them making the movie, and it wasn't really them making the movie either. I thought it was gonna be like a shot for shot remake they were trying to do, but instead they were just trying to reboot it, which was less interesting to me once we got to that point. I thought it was something different, but either way, like again, I'm nitpicking on a movie that's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to Roofman, a movie that just recently hit Paramount Plus. Had a very short run in theaters, starring Channing Tatum, and honestly, like it's a kind of a stacked cast. Kristen Dunst, Lakeith Stanfield, Juna Temple, Peter Dinklage. I only knew that Channing Tatum was in this movie. I didn't realize all these other actors were in it.
Yeah, I remember seeing Kirsten Dunst and Peter Dinklage from the trailer. I didn't realize that Lakeith Stanfield and Juna Temple were in it, but to be honest, I actually really enjoyed this movie. Like like from start to finish, I just thought it was just like a really compelling story. I also really loved in the beginning. This is a true story. Like none of this like based on true events or based on a true story. Meaning like a lot of like more or less everything you see in this movie is really what happened. And of course, at the very end, we get like actual footage. And I actually really loved like these little like epilogue interviews with like the real woman who Kirsten Dunst plays, like her like basically explaining like, yeah, this thing happened, that happened. Like when he robs a McDonald's and he gives the guy his coat, like that's actually what really happened. hiding out in the Toys R Us. Like I thought it was incredibly compelling. Like Channing Tatum actually gave a really great performance, like detailing this character and like kind of letting us into his world and kind of what he was thinking and what he was going through. They how smart they showed him. Like I really from start to finish. I had a feeling I was gonna like it, but I think I liked it more than I thought I was going to. Like I really enjoyed it. I kind of wish I had seen it in theaters.
Yeah, honestly, I think this movie. I also really enjoyed this movie, but I thought this movie was marketed poorly.
I agree.
In the sense, like when I saw this trailer, I thought it was just gonna be a fun comedy, and it was not. No, which that to me what took me by surprise. I was like, oh, this is not as much as of a comedy that I thought it was going to be. This is like a very compelling story, and I wasn't expecting the story to go in the way that it did because I thought it was just like, okay, he escaped from jail. He's going to be hiding out of a Toys R Us, and like he's not going to be leaving that Toys R Us. But yet he has a full life, like a second life in this brief amount of period of time that he was able to form a relationship and like somehow weasel his way back into this like weird corner of a Toys R Us, and then have his own security system that he was able to install in there as well. The amount of stuff that he got away with was insane. But it's just crazy to see like his own fear kind of got in the way of or his connection to people kind of was ultimately what got him caught.
Yeah.
Because he knew what he had to do, but he couldn't let it go and end up getting caught again after he escaped. But he was smart enough to know how to get out. And I think it was really funny in the end credits when they were like doing the little like the blurbs on the screen. He said that he tried to escape twice. He tried to escape 2 more times. Which was hilarious to me. And then they said he's up for parole in the year 2036, so he still has 10 more years to go on that.
But now he's in jail. It's like, hey, there's a movie about me.
Yeah. But I just thought it was crazy that, this I just think this movie was just poorly uh marketed because there wasn't a lot of hype around it to begin with. And like with the star like Channing Tatum, this has a pretty all-star cast for the most part. And you would think that it would be, like get some sort of uh like push. But I think they were marketing this as a comedy, and at the end of the day, it was more of a dramedy, I guess.
I would say more of a dramedy, but it still had very heavily comedic elements. I mean, come on, when he's taking his shower in the sink and he gets caught by Peter Dinklage's character. I mean, that scene is fucking hilarious. I mean,
pretty funny.
He's running. He was like, "Oh, I just saw his balls." he's naked.
He's naked.
There's his ass.
And I think it's what's interesting about all this as well, like talking about the marketing of it. This movie had a budget of $19 million, so it wasn't that expensive to make. But yet, again, no one really talked about it. It opened to $8 million at the box office, and it collected $22 million domestically and $34 million worldwide. Didn't do hot. And the movie again cost what I say 19 million. So it made a small profit. Not really. Maybe it's money back at the end of the day. Let's see, 19.
The worldwide 34.
So to start breaking profit, need to make 47.5 million. So it wasn't quite there, but I don't know. I feel like if this movie was marketed better, I feel like more people would have seen it.
Yeah, or maybe it just came out like this. Maybe would have been better as like maybe a spring release. Like maybe not during this. Well, no, it came out. When did it come out? It came out in October.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a sleeper. It's definitely one that people should watch. It's well worth your time. It's very good.
Yeah, so much so that I went to Paramount Plus very quickly. Like a movie that came out in October, and before the end of the year, it's already sneaking its way into the streaming service. Yeah, I just feel like that the Paramount didn't really have a lot of faith in the movie, and I 100% agree. It's a sleeper hit on there. You guys should definitely give it a watch if you haven't already. And the last movie I believe we're going to be talking about is Bugonia. Yes, Bugonia. which is in the awards conversation. I feel like it's on the lower end of the conversations, like right on the cusp of like it could be nominated, it might not get anything, might receive some few noms. It's kind of just teetering there. Like there are some definitely bigger heavy hitters out there, but in the Critics' Choice and all these other preliminary awards, they're getting the nominations. So I'm curious about the Oscars on this one, but a lot of attention, a lot of talk around it for people who have seen it, obviously. But Ernesto, your thoughts on Begonia, the newest movie from uh,
Yorgos Lanthimos.
thank you.
I actually liked it more than I thought I was going to. Like, just because Kinds of Kindness was kind of like, I just didn't enjoy it. I guess, and that's because it was like this weird triptych fable where it was like three different stories that were like mildly connected. It was just too much for me to latch onto, where I felt like this was a weird movie, but it was one story that I was able to like, all right, I got it. And I actually kind of liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I really liked, I mean, Jesse Plemons is like this, there's like this ultimate conspiracy theorist, and like Emma Stone is like this big corporate, big CEO of like this tech and medical company, and I like that. I really liked her performance. I mean, I think she played it very, very well. Yeah. What did you think?
Yeah, I think this was definitely a way better movie than Kinds of Kindness. That's for
100%.
sure.
Yeah.
Like, and this guy, I feel like he's like a hit or miss maker at this point because we loved Poor Things. And then his next movie was Kinds of Kindness that came out a year later. And then a year later came out with Begonia. And I feel like those three movies are equally as weird, but also vastly different
Yeah.
in the like stories that he's trying to tell. And I was enthralled.
Yeah.
Like it was the very similar to Poor Things. It's weird. But if you can make it good weird, then you have my attention.
Yeah. It's a good
Again,
weird.
it knows it's committed to what it's trying to do.
100%. And I mean, like, and then you get this ending where it's, what if you are right? Like, you have this wild theory and you get all this and you end up being correct. And then we get this weird ending sequence, which when he fucking exploded in the in the closet, like, it's like, oh, like when we're getting this reveal, like, so when she says that she's an alien, like she was actually telling the truth. Like all that,
Yeah.
like it ended up being all the things that, like that weird internet shit that he read, like it ended up being true. So it's like, it was just weird. And then she just pops the bubble and kills everybody on Earth.
Yeah, I think it's a crazy ending.
Yeah.
But I think what's more impressive is that and I think it was written and probably and also acted very well. On all the credit going to Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons for committing to the roles. A little bit more so on Emma Stone's part because there was a role that was like convincing the audience that like, hey, this man's crazy. And then even when she was like, hey, I'm telling the truth, I am an alien, you're right. You're like, she just bullshitted. Like
Yes.
it was going back and forth of like, wait, is she an alien? No, she's ridiculous. That's not true at all. And so like she's explaining, she's like, hey, yeah, I'm an alien. You know, your mother is over here. She more or less forced him to not forced him, but convinced him that her mother can either live or die, who's in a coma, off of putting coolant or was it oil?
Antifreeze. It was antifreeze.
Antifreeze, that's right. Into her bloodstream to get her out of the coma, ended up killing her, but she also said they could kill her. And then he's even more pissed and was like, well, I said she could kill her. And then he's kind of buying into the fact that she is telling the truth. And then we go into her office and like just creating this tense environment. And it's like at that moment, it's like, maybe she is telling the truth. And you're like, no, she's not telling the truth. She's trying to get herself out of this whole fucking situation.
Yeah.
And then very believable blew himself up from the bomb strap to his chest. So then again, all realistic things you kind of buying into, and then at the very end to be like, no, she's an alien. He was right the whole time. It's a ballsy move of an ending, and I kind of appreciate it a little bit more for that ending rather than just being like he was crazy the whole time and she's just trying to get out of a very stressful, difficult, and scary situation.
Yeah, I think what because I actually didn't see it coming I didn't get it until she was in the ambulance and she started running back. I was like, oh, she actually is an alien. Like, oh, he was right the whole time. And then we get this weird sequence at the end, like, oh, we couldn't contact you because all your hair was gone.
Yeah, he was right.
He was right. Like, damn, he was right.
He's right the whole
That
time.
crazy motherfucker was right. I mean, but what a turn! What a great turn towards the end of the movie. It's weird. It's a really weird movie, but it's an enjoyable weird movie.
Yeah, and that's quickly going back to Anaconda. It's like, and that's the difference where they're like, well, you can sell me on a ridiculous concept, and even Naked Gun, you can sell me on that. I'm willing to go on board, but you got to commit.
I guess
You got to commit to the bit. Because when you don't and you start giving me different tones, that's when you start losing me, especially with it being a ridiculous concept. With Bugonia, still weird, still ridiculous idea. However, it plays better just by how you decide to write it. And it's committed to its one singular narrative of like Emma Stone trapped in the basement from this crazy guy who thinks she's an alien. Like, very simple concept. And then we have this crazy things that are happening throughout of like, electrocuting her, having this poor assistant kind of going along with his theory. And then he's like, "Can you take me to your mothership?" And she's like, "Yes." And then he just ends up shooting himself. That's heartbreaking.
That was wild.
That was crazy. And then now the fact that she was an alien the whole time, you can go back and rewatch that movie and see it under perspective that he's not crazy at all. And I wonder if it plays differently at that point.
I bet it does. I bet it plays better. I bet this movie plays better on a rewatch, like already knowing the answer to the question.
Yeah, I think it was extremely well made. And I think what's even more convincing was Emma Stone's performance, which once I saw this movie, I completely understood, like, oh yeah, I can see why she's getting the noms for this. This role was incredible.
100% agree.
And Jesse Plemons also, I mean, he's not really getting recognized this time around, but I think it's worth noting that he also performed the hell out of this role as well.
Like, and this is usually when they perform, like, I forget that, like, I don't, like, you look at them, they become those characters. Like, you forget that they're playing characters and you almost feel like you're watching a real person. Like, they're just they play it so believably well.
Yeah. Do you think the Oscars would give this any love?
I would like to, at least for Emma Stone. Like, it would be nice for Jesse Plemons, but I think more so for Emma Stone because of how narratively she has to basically carry the entire movie, which she does phenomenally. Yeah. I'll say.
What I forgot to do Roofman as well. So we do this, and then we'll go back to Roofman for a second. What would you give this as a 5-star rating?
I'm kind of floating between a 4 and a 4.5 because I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I can probably meet you at a 4.5.
Okay, and then for Roofman, I would probably say around the same, but probably leaning harder onto 4.5, just because narratively, it was just a really enjoyable movie. Like, I would go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, I was probably leaning toward a little bit on the 4 for Roofman. Like, I don't think it was like that mind blowing of like a movie, but it took me by surprise on how it wasn't a straight comedy and more compelling. Heartfelt, and therefore, like, I was feeling for this character even though he's doing bad things. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that's right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can meet you at a 4 for Roofman. I'm with you on that.
But Bugonia, it again, I think because of the commitment and the performances, it gets that extra half star for me. And also, again, I'm in the bag for Lanthimos. It's like, I think he's a very interesting and creative director, but he has shown me that it does not always, his stick doesn't always land.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
when it does, it hits pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so that's our thoughts on Bugonia, and that is wrapping up everything that we've been watching. So now we're going to be diving into our spoiler review of our main review of Marty Supreme, directed by Josh Safdie. Right? Did I get that right? Yeah, Josh Safdie.
Yeah.
Ernesto, your thoughts on Marty Supreme?
I have to say, I absolutely love this movie. Like coming out of the theater, I was locked in for all 2.5 hours. Like it was exciting from start to finish. It never dragged. I mean, major hint to the score. I mean, I loved the score of this movie. Basically, like carried it for me. That and Timothée Chalamet's performance is the standout. He's got like this unchecked ego, singularly driven. Like he doesn't care whoever's in his path. He hurts everybody. He steamrolls people, but you can't look away. It's like he makes you so mad because of how he's treating people, but yet he's so magnetic as a character that you're just instantly drawn to him. I mean I loved it from start to finish.
It's a weird feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of like having this character that there's no very little redeeming qualities to him. Like he is an asshole, he steamrolls people, his ego's through the roof, and you almost buy into it
Yep.
to a certain point. And then you realize this guy's just a full of shit. He's only in it for himself, and he's very selfish, and like again, his confidence levels through the roof. But yet there is something about his character and his performance that you just can't look away. And you're almost kind of watching this as if like, man, he just got himself into this ridiculous situation. I can't wait to see how he might get out of it. And then it happens again and again and again. And it's this chaotic nature that it's inherently just like what else could this guy get himself into? This motherfucker.
It's like how does
It's
this
crazy.
end? Like you're just I mean, and to put it into context, I had worked a full day at work and I was like, man, I really hope I don't fall asleep. And I could feel myself starting to fall asleep in the beginning, and then the movie starts, and it was just like I was locked in the entire 2.5 hours. It was I absolutely loved it. I thought that the opening sperm fertilization scene was kind of weird at first. It was just, but I think looking at it from start to finish, like it was kind of like a perfect bookend moment because the start of the movie when he has sex with this woman is actually like becomes full circle because that's when his kid is born, and that was like his reset to be this other person. So I kind of like at first it was weird, but then when looking at the end of the movie, I was like, oh well, it kind of makes sense why the movie started that way.
Yeah, I think also just for because I was watching another breakdown of the movie and I didn't really see it this way. There were a lot of theories or maybe a lot of ambiguity about the fact that that was not his kid since he was having an affair and obviously she was married to her husband. So they could have had sex along the way within that time that he was gone. So there was no really proving if this was actually his kid or not. And even he said, he's like, I pulled out. So that's a good method. And so
Yeah.
he was so confident about that. But I think now going back to that opening scene and then how it ended, to me, I'm more convinced that that is his kid. Otherwise, why show that? Like he's having sex with this woman that then it instantly goes into like the sperms going into it. Why show that if if it if it didn't mean that that was his kid later on.
Especially at the end, like you end like he sees this child and he immediately starts crying, and then that's what like resets his life almost. Like everything else that he did doesn't matter anymore because now he has this thing that he has to take care of. Like to me, always like, it was earned. Like it reframes everything. Like, nothing changes you more than seeing your child for the first time.
Yeah, and I do want to. I was a little bit confused on that ending, but I want to talk about other things before I talk about the ending of the movie.
Okay.
Because the fact that it was just so chaotic and there were so many things that were happening, and yet this was a movie about ping pong, but it also wasn't a movie about ping pong.
Not at all.
Like it it kind of acts somewhat as a sports drama, but it's definitely not a sports drama. The movie's about Marty Supreme. This is a vehicle for Timothée Chalamet. Like this is his movie through and through. And I think what this movie is more about is this guy's confidence in himself, but to disastrous effects. Like you are so overly confident in yourself, you're willing to do all these absurd things and say these absurd things to the people that actually care about you and to the people that don't even care about you. and yet like you were willing to do nothing. Like nothing was going to stop you from doing this one thing that you're completely fixated on. And I think that was an interesting journey to go through that. And there were moments where he had these high wins, kind of, but the only person that was having him go down deeper into this rabbit hole of chaos was himself, based off to the choices he decided to make. Um, one of which was like his behavior going into the final round of the ping pong tournament. Like he was so convinced that he was going to win
Mm-hmm.
and like this was going to change his life that he took that loss extremely hard. And yet he was like he even said it before like to this other ping pong champion that he was unwilling to subvert himself into clown acts, but yet here he goes going on tour and with this circus doing these little ping pong games just to make a quick buck. And I find it interesting when he decides in those moments to put his ego aside for what he calls the greater good into like, I'm going to do this so I can make money so I can better myself later. And it's interesting to see him like kind of, submit to that. And then when he was willing to just go full throttle into chaos.
I mean, and it was just one thing after another. Like them hustling those guys, and he goes into that hotel and like leading into that whole storyline with the gangster and the dog. Like, and then learning that he has to pay this fine, and he's in the tub and he falls on the guy's arm. I mean, how that shit was wild, because like we're learning about this moment of like this thing that happened to him, and then at the same time it just subverts you and throws you into this other moment where these guys washing his dog and he fucking break his arm, and then they have to go and take the dog, and then they lose the dog because they get chased down by the guys who they get hustled. And then that spirals into like basically the whole back half of the movie, and it was just wild. Like I really loved the Japan rematch at the end with Enzo. Like it was just so like exhilarating. Like the whole back and forth, and like he fixed it. Like this is this moment where like even when he learned that he wasn't going to be playing the tournament, he was like, nah, fuck that. We're going to win. This is it. Like he goes, this is like my final moment. I'm not going back to play ping pong for the tournament. They don't want me. I've obviously burned that bridge. So all I have left is this. This is going to be like his last moment of really being part of the ping pong game. And it turns into like this exhilarating final matchup between him and Enzo, like this massive buildup. And when he wins in the end, I feel like it's such an earned moment. Like people in the theater were like cheering when he won at the end, because it was just so exhilarating. Like it was just so fun to watch. Like it was just like from start to finish, and like the score of this movie like really 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 sells it. Was it Daniel Lopatin? The composer for this movie?
I believe if it's the same person, he did Spider-Verse. Daniel
Lopatin.
Composer. Oh no, that's not him. Different guy. He's done all of Josh Safdie's movies.
Yeah,
he did Uncut Gems.
Yep.
He did Good Time.
What I really loved is that he took like this, even though we're in the 1950s, he added like this 80s synth beat to it, and it just kind it is. I think that's what made the movie so exciting. But I just thought it was interesting that we have this very distinct sound from the 80s overlaid on this movie from the 50s, like almost like this guy was like ahead of his time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It kind of the score kind of plays into the Marty Supreme character itself.
Yeah, that character, that Marty Supreme thought he was ahead of his time,
and then
like,
and maybe that's part of it. Like I don't know. It felt like, because it just felt very misplaced, but in like the most perfect way.
Yeah, and what's crazy about him, like in that final ping pong battle, was that this moment was built up from him. Like we're excited to see him win after I think we were, as an audience, even though this is a terrible human being, like we are almost cheering him on because he went through so much shit from his own doing to be there. And so the fact that he did all of this to be like, for the committee to be like, you're not going in the tournament. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, I'm here right now. What are you talking about? He's like, you're not performing. And then like he couldn't settle with just doing the silly exhibition match and kind of just being the American evil person that he could have probably just leaned into and kind of go along this ride and just be this puppet. He has such a high respect for himself that, and also this huge ego, that he needed to beat him in order for him to move on. Like he needs to confirm to himself that he is the best ping pong player ever. And the only thing that will stop him is that he needs to be that guy. And not like then he can say that he beat every ping pong player out there at that moment. Because he already beat the previous championship in the beginning of the movie. And like for him, that was able to settle everything that was happening internally. But yet the lengths that he was willing to go through. And it's crazy because it all started with the first round. Like things that doesn't seem consequential, it's almost like a huge domino effect that affects the whole movie. Like even when he was in the first round or the first like competition that was happening with for ping pong, he felt like he was so earned a better hotel room that he took himself into a better hotel on the company's dime, on the tournament's dime, and then they owed him. Then they felt like, hey, you made all these charges, you owe us money. And then from there, it was just in a complete domino effect where he needed money. He had to go pay them back. I'm trying to steal this dog. I got to do the hustle. Got myself into the situation with the dog, even though I was just supposed to take him straight to the hospital. But yet, I want to do this hustle first because this man gave me money, and then I can hustle that guy again for holding a ransom for the dog. And then it just keeps piling on and piling on. And you're like, this man's ridiculous. And then you can see him clearly burning bridges everywhere he goes. Like, even for the people who cared about him, even like his manager screwed him over so many times. His love interest, I guess girlfriend, I guess at the end of the day, Rachel,
his childhood friend and lover.
Yes, she was equally as crazy as he was.
Yeah, I kind of was here. I really loved her character. I thought I would have liked to have seen more of her, but I think it probably would have dragged down the beat of the movie because we were already at 2.5 hours. So I mean, if we've gotten a little bit of more, but I really enjoyed like her whole arc and just kind of like how she was placed in this movie. You know, she has the affair with Marty. She enables him. She schemes with him. She's so absorbed in all his selflessness. Like she loves everything about him, and she doesn't care. She doesn't care what he does. She just wants to be a part of it. And we see that because she fakes getting a black eye while she's pregnant and like forces Marty, like beats the shit out of this guy, like unknowingly that she faked this injury just so that she can be with him. Like she faked this injury and she's with this like very angry, abusive guy. For her to do some shit like that is pretty crazy. But I don't know. She was like manipulative in her own way. And like she forces this reset on him because saying that it's his baby, like no matter what, because this is a way that she can like be with him. And she, even though she doesn't care what he does, she just wants to be with him and just wants to scheme life with him.
Which is crazy because like it's crazy that she was all in on this person who could give at that point give two shits about him or about her. Even so much so that he was saying awful things to her.
Oh yeah.
She's like, you were like, you are not important. Like your life is not important. Like what I'm doing is important. You're nobody. And like to say that to the mother of your child was insane. It was wild.
It's crazy shit.
And then also in the meanwhile, he's having this affair with Gwyneth Paltrow's character, and Kevin O'Leary's in this movie for some reason. But also he did a pretty good job.
Oh, I thought it was great. I mean, he hated Marty so much.
Yeah.
And then him being able to exact that revenge on all the bullshit he said to him. And it was a perfect way of like all that bullshit you said, now you need me. And guess what? Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna smack your ass with this paddle while you beg for it to come to Japan, little bitch. Yeah, you gonna do whatever I say? That's right, you're gonna do whatever I say because I'm gonna smack your ass with this paddle. I just want to humiliate you as much as humanly possible before I give you what you want. And he was willing to sit there and take it. And actually, he actually did. So that ass you see on screen is actually Timothée Chalamet. I guess he came out and was like, they had a stunt ass to take the whipping, but he goes, no, but that's gonna be my ass that's immortalized. It's also funny to say that like he's really embodied this Marty Supreme character on tour as doing all the press tour for this movie. If you go look up interviews, like he basically is Marty Supreme in the interviews. It's really great. It's really great to see.
What's crazy about it is that when Kevin O'Leary's character was like smacking his ass and like wanting to humiliate him in front of his friends, and I was like, yeah, I get it. Like to me, that was like, I'm not. Oh man, I feel sorry for Marty. He's like, no, you put yourself in the situation, and this is how you're gonna get out of it.
You
Like,
earn that ass whooping.
Yeah, he earned that ass whooping. But like, that's what's good. That's what's good storytelling. It's like the fact that you're like, yeah, he's our main character, and we should be rooting for him. But also, you deserve what's coming to you because you are a complete asshole this entire time. The way you treat people is awful. So the fact that his manager was like, no, I had enough of you. The fact that his lover was willing to, Rachel was willing to go along with the charade was wild to me. Also like Gwyneth Paltrow, like she was so enamored with the affair that was happening that when she got caught, she was like scared for her life and didn't want anything to do with him afterward. But then I guess she got bad reviews from the play, and then we never really saw her again after that.
I think what I really loved about her character, I think she was just a vehicle to show how infectious Marty could be to anybody. Like it didn't matter how rich or whoever you were, like when he was around you, you just became enamored with who he was as a person.
Yeah, and I guess the lady sees something in him because like he has that again. I think he's exudes that confidence. It's like he doesn't care. But it's that magnetic effect that I guess can grab audiences too because it was so interesting and so like the high energy of like the craziness that he was willing to go through just for ping pong. I think that has something to do with it as well. Like as ridiculous as it sounds, like he is convinced that he is the best ping pong player out there. And I think if this was a more quote unquote respected sport like football, then maybe some people can buy into the ridiculousness. But I think it even sells more that he's doing all this for ping pong, something that's not even widely known yet or that as popular. And he feels like he can change the game and change the industry by being this ping pong player. And that's definitely not what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I also love that this was like a real person. This was loosely based on Marty Reisman, who was a Lower East Side hustler with Jewish roots. The Needle was his nickname, doing the showmanship trick shots, which we kind of saw in the during a tournament with his friend. Like they were playing around. They were doing just like they spent a whole round just doing trick shots. I also loved like his friend who was like this revered ping pong player. He tells this story of rubbing honeycomb on himself. And because he was a bomb diffuser in Auschwitz, and apparently this is like a real person. This is a real person that Reisman knew. That he would go into the forest and diffuse these bombs, and he took honey and rubbed it all over himself so that the people in his camp could have sustenance and have things to eat. So he would rub it all over himself, and like they would lick it off of him. I think it was. It was a crazy ass story. It just kind of showed like the resilience that these people had and what they did to survive. Like I don't know, just kind of, and it kind of played into like Marty Supreme. Like he even talks about it. He's like Adolf Hitler would hate me right now because I'm a Jewish person that's like pushing and surviving.
Yeah. I think I feel like that story, it's crazy within all the craziness that was happening. Like that's a very serious and very compelling story. But I felt like it was a very not throwaway, but like it was that story in the context of the show or the movie was a distraction. Excuse me, so Marty Supreme can like kind of show off to Kevin O'Leary and Gwyneth Paltrow and whatever.
But to me, yes,
But
I
yeah,
agree with you 100%. But to me, it kind of worked. Like it was a very, like it was just a very valuable, like piece of information. I like how he's like, tell him the story. He's like, do you want to hear the story? He goes, not really, but tell me anyway.
yeah. um, yeah. I don't. It was a really good movie.
It was
It was,
fantastic. It was
and,
easily. It's easily going to be in one of my top for the year.
and going back to the ending, I was a little bit confused with the ending because this guy went through this whole thing. We have a certain way about this character, and to me is like, are we led to believe that this man has has decided that all of this is behind him, and now since he believes that he's a father, he is now gonna be a better person? Like, I couldn't lean into the fact that that was the ending of the movie, of like, yeah, forget about all that stuff. I'm now a dad now. I'm gonna be a better person. I'm not sure if it's the hope that he could be, or he's gonna take his life seriously anymore. I feel like that ending was very, like, you can read into it a little bit.
Yeah, and I think maybe that was the point. It's like you can kind of decide whether, like, it's a little ambiguous. You can decide whether he is gonna leave that life, or are we gonna see some kind of mixed version of that where he tries to be a better person, but then kind of leans into like some of his early shenanigans or antics. It would have been nice to get maybe like even a title card of like how the rest of his life went.
Yeah, I guess. It kind of just leave it up in the air because with all this bullshit that he went through, I don't believe that he is a changed man after him, like, after he, what's it called? Um, After he went through all of that just for the sport of ping pong, like, he's gonna put aside his ego to be a good father. Like, I don't think, like, I think that's a movie what maybe what was trying to imply, but I didn't fully buy into that aspect of it.
Or what if they did that and then we get a quick moment where he like looks at the camera, he's like, but you don't think like just because I'm a dad doesn't mean I'm not the same person. Like, I don't know, maybe like an additional scene of like a hint of who he was, of who he was still coming out, so that we get the idea of both, that like maybe it wasn't a complete turn, that yeah, he is going to be a dad, but there is a part of him, that part of him will never die because he is Marty Supreme.
Yeah, and also, like, again, the ending could have been like, "Hey, I may be a father, that might be my child, but I'm not gonna," like, he could be like, "I'm not dealing with that," and just kinda go off and do his own thing. So the fact that he came back to be there for her obviously meant something to him, and, like, this could be the next chapter of his life and putting all this behind him. I just feel like there wasn't a lot of evidence to make me believe that.
No,
Um
I agree with you. I agree with you because it was more open ended. There, it wasn't really bookend. Like to me, the bookend was the sperm scene and him having a kid. To me, that kind of like starts and finishes the whole story. Like it's kind of wrapped around this thing. Like he
Yeah.
is who he was, but like really, the start of the movie is the end of the movie when he gets this girl pregnant.
Right, right, and, like, that's ultimately like the next journey for him into fatherhood, so to speak. And all this other stuff is just nonsense. Like, it's just, it doesn't matter. Like, none of this matter. What really matters is you being a father. Maybe that's the pushing
Yeah,
element they were trying to go into that.
which I
Like,
can
you have
get.
all this chaos and it doesn't, like all that was insequential at the end of the day. Like, you're just feeding your own ego. But what really matters is what you do for this child. And that could be a play into it. Um, but I think it's just really funny that even going back to like the final ping pong battles, like we are excited for this win that he has, and like kind of like the climactic end to this movie. And even though again, it ultimately doesn't mean anything. However, like, people are cheering for him, even though this isn't an earned moment, but it is for this. It's an earned moment for the character, less about the wider scope of what the story is trying to tell, which I think is very hard to do, to have your audience back a character that's extremely unlikable.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, let's quickly talk about the box office. This movie is a moderate success for A24. I believe it's like the second biggest opening for an A24 movie. Um, but nonetheless, it is. Let's see here.
I got it.
You got it. There you go. I also had it here. Went away. Nope. Okay, I'll just read off of that. Yeah, at the time of this recording, Marty Supreme opened with a limited release with just under a mil, but it opened to when it had a wider release. I believe it opened to number 3. Yes. It opened to number 3 over the holiday weekend, and it ended up collecting roughly about $27.7 million debuted against a $70 million budget, which is the second best opening for an A24 movie, which is kind of crazy to think that 27 and a half or 27, what did I say, 27.1 million is the second best A24 movie. So I feel like they should have had bigger releases, but A24 is more of an uh indie, film studio, so I guess that makes sense in a way. But at the time of this recording, this movie has made $57 million domestically. Hasn't really gone off of the international market. He's only made 2.5 million with a grand total of $60 million worldwide. So as far as a broader scope, this movie had a $70 million budget. A lot went into this movie, and it didn't quite uh, live up to the profitability. However, this movie's getting a lot of awards attention, and so I think it's gonna make up for on that front. Uh,
Yeah, I think so.
what do you think as far as going into the Oscars?
Obviously, I'm gonna go directing, um, best picture, best actor. I would even say supporting actress for Odessa, um, and sound and music for the score. I mean, the score basically carried the movie for me, as well as Timothée Chalamet. Like it hits a lot of different fronts, but especially those.
Yeah, though not the strongest element in the movie, but I still think it's really shot really well. I'll throw cinematography in there.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I think there were other stronger movies that were shot better this year.
Mhm.
But I would appreciate the nomination. I think some of those those fight scenes, or not fights, those ping pong scenes were done pretty well, and they were shot pretty well. And so, but yeah, it's interesting to see the amount of hype that this movie's getting, and yet the box office doesn't reflect it. I feel like that happens a lot when it comes to these award contenders. But yeah, stand out 100% through and through. This was Timothy Chalamet's movie.
Absolutely.
Like, this is his moment to shine, and his probably best shot of winning an Oscar for his performance. It's his to lose at this point. And what I find, um, when I somewhat of me kind of easily comparing this to, this very much feels like what Timothy with Marty Supreme is to Timothy Chalamet. I feel like the Wolf of Wall Street is to Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, great comparison. Yeah, great
I feel like
comparison.
that was his vehicle to shine in this absurd character, and he ended up not winning for that movie.
Yeah.
He ended up winning a few years later with The Revenant of all movies. But I feel, me personally, in my heart, he should have won for The Wolf of Wall Street. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Christian Bale won for Vice that year, but I could be wrong. I might be wrong.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But either way, Timothy Chalamet, it's his role to beat. I'll be curious to see the nominations, and we'll have a deeper discussion about it all
Mhm.
at the end of the day. But 5-star ratings and your final thoughts.
Well, final thoughts. I absolutely loved it. Like I kind of loved like Safdie's film. It's like this rugged individualism, like this just kind of the lengths of what unchecked ambition looks like. I think that was a good vehicle to kind of show us what that goes. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna go. I'm kind of floating between 4.5 and a 5. I'm gonna go 4.5.
Ooh, 5 stars. I'm not sure if I can give it the 5.
That's why I'm kind of floating between 4.5 and 5. But I'll go 4.5.
Yeah, I would go 4.5 as well. I don't think it was like a perfect movie
No, it
at the
wasn't
end of
perfect.
it, but it was really good.
It's absolutely fantastic. It's a
It was
great
really
film.
good. Quickly, I know we talked we mentioned it earlier, but comparing this to the Smashing Machine for the Benny Safdie's movie and kind of the split, of directors. And I think because the Safdie brothers did both Good Time and Uncut Gems together.
Mhm.
And now we kind of see where looks like Josh Safdie was the one that was more chaotic because those styles of movies were very similar to Marty Supreme, where I feel like Benny Safdie had a different approach on his filmmaking.
Yeah,
And
Marty Supreme
clearly that was
is the better
Go
film.
ahead.
Is the better
Yes.
film. I think pacing wise, I think this film just works a lot better. And like the sound and the score, how he played it into it, like this movie's fantastic.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think the biggest difference is the pacing.
Yeah.
Like Marty Supreme brought this energy, and it was also, you know, it, it- the energy of this movie was gripping. Like
Yeah.
we couldn't look away. We had to stare at it. Whereas the Smashing Machine was very
It's a little slower.
slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and also I feel like it was telling a story that was very niche.
Yeah.
Where I feel like this kind of was telling a niche-ish story as well, but it was being told in a very more compelling, not really compelling, but more entertaining and interesting way than the Smashing Machine.
Yeah, it was more of like an experience, this was, you know?
Yes, it definitely felt like an experience. Um, but yeah, Marty Supreme, 4.5 stars. Timothée Chalamet, I feel like is a lock at this point for Best Actor at the
100%.
Oscars. It will be interesting to see what other nominations this movie gets at the award season because it's definitely up there. And yeah, this is definitely Timothée Chalamet's vehicle. Curious to see if anyone kind of steals his thunder, but I think it's his to beat. But yeah, that's our spoiler review on Marty Supreme, and that is all the show we have for you guys this week. As always, you can follow us on our social media channels on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok at Box Office Bingers, our X and Letterboxd page at Box Office Binger, and our Threads and Instagram page at Box Office_Bingers. The fun doesn't stop here. It continues on all of our social media channels. So be sure to give each one of those a follow so you can see our lovely faces on YouTube, TikToks, on the shorts that we have on our Facebook, Threads, and Instagram page. We also can see all of our movie reviews on our Letterboxd page and on our Facebook, Instagram, and Threads page. We will give you what is new to streaming every Friday, and the box office numbers every Sunday. Got there eventually.
You got it.
Ernesto, tell the people what they can look forward to next episode.
So I'm not sure. We haven't decided exactly what we're reviewing, but I think the main thing is it's our yearly best of. So this is going to be our best of 2025. We're going to look at our past TV shows, and I guess it's best of movies, best of TV, and then our disappointments. We usually talk to some things that we were hyped for but kind of disappointed us. But yeah, that's the show I'm always looking forward to. We also kind of do a quick look ahead to 2026 to things that we're looking forward to for this following year. And then after that, we're going to be kicking it high gear in the Oscar season because we should be getting the nominations here pretty soon. So this is always like a fun time of the year for us.
Yeah, it's good to look back at all the movies that came out in 2025. I do enjoy when we do this episode because it's a good introspective. I'm like, maybe, and also just a good look back at some of the things that we've might have had different opinions about after it sits with us for a long period of time. A lot of these episodes are a couple of days after we've seen the movie, and kind of like playing upon our expectations. And again, looking forward ahead of 2026 is always a fun time as well. So come back next week for more movie fun. You're not going to regret it. We have a great lineup for the rest of the month and into the award season. We really do appreciate each one of you listening to us to talk about movies. It does not come to granted. So thank you very much for all of that. And yeah, next week, more movie fun. I'm going to continue repeating myself. And for that, I've been your host, Matt Diaz.
I've been Ernesto Santos. See ya.